On January 5th, 2024, Sony is shutting down the servers for both MLB 19 and MLB 20. And yesterday, I made a video going back and playing Diamond Dynasty and MLB 19 one final time, going through the mode, talking about the content, and basically just taking a trip down memory lane. And today, I'm gonna do the same thing with MLB The Show 20. Now again, just for clarification, you can still play MLB 19 and 20 after the 5th. You just can't access any online features. So you can still play Road to the Show and Franchise. You just can't play things like Online Rated and Diamond Dynasty, which is really kind of sad for me because this is my favorite Diamond Dynasty of all time. I've played this mode since MLB 16, and I can confidently say that this was the year where I had the most fun from start to finish. Now, there's a lot of different reasons for that, and I'll get into a lot of them in this video, but really it just can be boiled down to this. In my opinion, MLB The Show 20 took all the new and fundamental features that MLB The Show 19 added and improved and expanded upon basically all of them. And for me, it starts with the inning programs. I thought the inning programs were great this year. I really liked the boss selections. Some of the best cards in the game were the inning program bosses, which I thought was great. And to me, by far the best one was the 5th inning program. If you guys have watched my videos, anytime I talk about MLB 20, I always bring up this program because to me, this is the GOAT. This is the best program of all time. Because the 3 boss players in this program were Signature Mariano Rivera, Awards David Ortiz, and Signature Larry Walker. All 3 of these guys were brand new legends in the game in MLB 20. And it's not just 3 new legends, it's 3 legends that people have been wanting for years. Like, these are 3 big names, and we didn't even know Larry Walker was in this program until the day the program came out. They just surprise dropped a legend that people had been asking for years. And not only were these 3 really marquee legends, but these were also arguably the best at each position at the time they came out. Mariano was probably the best relief pitcher. You could maybe make an argument for somebody else at first base, but regardless, David Ortiz was one of the best first basemen in the game. And Larry Walker, in my opinion, was the best right fielder in the game at the time he came out. And there was an even better version of him that came out this same day. We'll talk about that soon. And another thing to keep in mind with these programs is you only got one of these boss packs. The further you went in the program, you didn't get any more. So you had to make a choice in this pack. You had to choose which one you wanted. Now, to be fair, all 3 of these cards were sellable. So if you chose Mariano and you didn't like him and you wanted to try out David Ortiz, you would just sell Mariano and buy Big Papi for the same price. But still, that first pick, there was an element of choice there, and this was such a good choice. This is the GOAT of all programs. Also, I will say the 9th inning program was pretty good too. Look at these 3 picks. Honus, Kenley, and Jimmy. That's a good one too. See what I mean, man? These were great. So that's one thing that they improved on, but they also did more with programs. They added a ton of player programs throughout the year. Some of these were tied to inning programs. Some of these were just their own thing, like the Extreme program was here, the World Series program. This is a lot like the other program screen from MLB The Show 23. Oh, they had this Jackie Robinson program, dude, where you had to do a bunch of missions with a bunch of different Jackie Robinson cards. And the moments when this program came out, dude, oh, I saw a lot of hatred for Forbes Field on the timeline that day. Now, something else that MLB 20 improved upon from MLB 19 was Team Affinity, and they improved upon it in a big way. See, in MLB 19, Team Affinity came out day 1, and it wasn't updated throughout the rest of the year. It was a really bare bones feature in 19. But in MLB 20, they actually updated it throughout the year. So if we take a look at the Angels, on day 1, you could get this face of the franchise Shohei Ohtani card. He was the Angels' first Team Affinity player. And then a little later in the year, they added more to Team Affinity, and it was another player. Then they got Brandon Marsh, and then they had Team Affinity Stage 3. We got Legends of the franchise, Tim Salmon. And then finally, Team Affinity 4, David Fletcher, the finest card. We didn't have this in MLB 19. It was just one card through the entire year. This is when they actually started upgrading and changing Team Affinity to make it one of the central pieces of content. Trying to remember what some of the better Team Affinity cards were. Oh, I know on the Rangers, I remember their face of the franchise, Joey Gallo, the GOAT. For the Mets, Al Leiter, I think this card was pretty good. And then you had DeGrom as the finest. What did the Padres have? They had Tatis. Oh, dude, you know what I just remembered? MLB The Show 20 had the first supercharged card. You guys remember that whole thing when Fernando Tatis Jr. had that whole breaking the unwritten rules thing? Well, MLB The Show leaned into it. They took this 88 overall face of the franchise card, and for 48 hours, they boosted him to a 99 overall. This was unheard of. Never had they changed the attributes for a limited time on a flashback card like this. Sure, we were used to attribute upgrades in roster updates on these live series cards and stuff, but never on a flashback that had already established attributes. Like, that was wild. And that pretty much set the precedent for supercharged cards. So yeah, Team Affinity was great, really good cards in there. But there were even more things that MLB The Show did to change up cards. Let me tell you about Prestige. A bunch of different cards had these Prestige programs. And basically what you would have to do is you take the base version of the card. So in this example, 99 Signature Kenley Jansen, you collect the card, and then you complete a bunch of online-only missions, and then you're rewarded with a prestige version of that card. And basically, it changes the card art to that red diamond, but it also adds to the attributes. You get a +3 attribute boost across the board. And I can't remember exactly what the qualifications were. I know collections and inning bosses were all eligible for these prestige programs. I think a few other ones were thrown in here too, like Lou Gehrig was from Extreme. But the prestige cards basically set the early foundations for the parallel system that they would then add in MLB 21. MLB The Show 20 set that foundation. But it wasn't just prestige cards that they added. You guys remember how in 19 they added the XP reward path? It worked pretty much the same in MLB 20. You get to level 100 and you choose one of the players, and then you go another 100 levels and choose another player, you know, so on and so forth. Well, once you got to diamond level 100 and you got your last pack, we all thought we were done. But nope, MLB The Show had a surprise. They added a prestige XP reward path. This was a secret feature in the mode that they didn't tell us about. They just let us find it out ourselves, and it had prestige versions of all the XP reward path players, as well as 3 new players: Eric Thames, J-Ram, and George Springer. God, I miss some of these cards, bro. This Eric Thames, please bring him back. But this was so cool because we didn't know about it, and there were some sick rewards in here. You got a 90+ diamond, a bunch of stub rewards, a bunch of ball-in packs. Like, this was so cool. Now, another thing that MLB 20 did really well was the monthly awards programs, and this is really impressive that they handled it this well. Because you got to remember that in 2020, we didn't have a season for the first 4 months. Baseball didn't start until the end of July, early August. So for the first 4 months, the Lightning players were flashbacks from previous games. So you had Didi from April of 2018, Correa from May of 2017, Cody Bellinger from 2017, and then James Paxton from 2017. Now, once the season started, then we got actual legit, like, from this season players. So we had Tatis, and then September was J-Ram. And you might think, like, well, how is this really exciting? How is this a good thing that they just brought back these players? Wouldn't this just kind of be boring? Well, the thing is they made these players way better than what they were in the previous games, and the biggest change is that they actually made these programs kind of easy and really doable. In previous years, the monthly awards programs were, I don't know, they weren't great. There was a lot of packs involved, and there was a lot of collecting. In this, you really just needed to do missions and moments. You didn't have to do too much to get these cards, and monthly awards became one of the best parts of the game. I haven't even talked about collections yet. The live series collections for this year were really good. You had Gary Sheffield for the NL, Craig Biggio for the AL, and Mickey Mantle, a new legend into the game this year. And this card was great, awesome, one of the best live series collections ever. And yes, he had a prestige version as well. But then we had our Legends and Flashback collection, and this year the collection was 99 Mike Trout. Oh, sometimes I really miss this card. This guy was so good. It's so funny to go back and think about this because I remember my reaction to this card. I was hyped out of my mind. You know, I'm an Angels fan. Like, this is what I want here. And I remember there were so many people in like Twitch chat and in comments that were like, this card's kind of underwhelming. He's not that good. He's not endgame. And I couldn't believe that take, bro. This card was one of the best cards in the game, if not the best card in the game by the end of the year. Like, people were hating on this card for no reason. he was insane. So yeah, MLB 20 basically just took all the things that made 19 great and improved and expanded upon pretty much all of them. Team affinity was elevated. The XP reward path was better. The collections were great. So many different programs to grind. Oh, I forgot they also added Showdown in this game. So, I mean, for some of you, that's actually probably a negative. But now let's take a look at some of the cards in this year's game. So this was my God Squad, or at least pretty close to it. I'm surprised I didn't have Mickey Mantle in here. I did like this Willie Mays, though. Juan Soto. Oh, my God. I forgot about this finest Juan Soto. One of the best hitters ever. This was the year we got Corey Seager as the World Series MVP. They brought back the finest Bellinger from the previous year. Corey Kluber in the starting rotation. He was basically the Kershaw from MLB 19, but in this year's game. But just look at the variety of cards that I had on my endgame team. I've got some signatures, some primes, some awards, some future stars, player of the month, postseason, retro finest. Like, there was so much variety in this game. And here's a bunch of players that are no longer in MLB The Show. Once again, I already made a video going back and using all of these guys for one more game. So if you want to see gameplay with all of these dudes, just, you know, scroll back on the channel a little bit. But it's so wild to look at these and see who used to be in the game and who isn't anymore. Some cool relievers here, man. Let's get Fernando Rodney back. He would be such a good guy to have on so many all-time teams. All right, so just like yesterday, I'm just gonna hop into a couple innings of play versus CPU just to get a few at-bats in. Like I said, I already did a video like not too long ago going back and playing all of these games online for a little bit. I just want to really get one more swing in with a lot of these dudes. One thing that is nice in the current MLB The Show games is the addition of pinpoint pitching. Analog was fine, but you can be way more accurate with pinpoint now. There we go. Oh my God, the throw meter is so fast. This Kluber card was very good. And like I said, he was kind of like the Kershaw of MLB 19, but he wasn't as bad because by a certain point, there were pitchers that were on his level or even better than him, whereas Kershaw was the best from day one till the end of the year. So they balanced that a little bit better. Hey, there's Trouty. This was also the first year you could customize your PCI. Back in the previous years, you were just stuck with that generic PCI design. Okay, well, nice throw. Okay, so I'm just a singles machine. I just realized that one thing I didn't talk about in this video was packs. Really, there was nothing to talk about. That was one of the only things that MLB 20 really didn't improve upon that much. There were some good packs in the game, but it was nothing crazy. But I feel like packs have kind of been the same for years now, honestly. Perfect. I forgot this was the year they added perfects. One of the things they did to address kind of the weird issues that MLB 19's hitting engine had, where a lot of swings were just classified as good, even if they weren't as good as they can be. That was just the best you could do, was good. Is that a home run? No, that is not even close. What am I talking about? I need to hit one ball out of here. I need to get one ball over the fence. Come on. Well, at least we get to keep hitting. Oh, let me get Mondesi in right here. Max contact and power against lefties. Let's do it. I'm really about to have another showcase of me not being able to hit a home run, huh? All right, I'm bringing in Oral. To this day, I still think this was probably the best Oral Hershiser. His card in 21 was not as good. It was still good. It just wasn't as good as this one. This one was like endgame, as he just gives up a perfect rocket. Woo! The speed differentials are crazy. That sinker gets up there, and then that changeup's at like 78. It's wild. Beautiful. Woo! All right, let's hit a home run for a good send-off. Well, okay. There it is. Willie Mays, center field. That's it. So yeah, that's MLB The Show 20. Really sad to say that this is the last time I'll ever play this. My favorite Diamond Dynasty ever. MLB The Show 20. You will be missed.